All right, but technically, this is a chamber event, and it's our November meeting. So I'd like to entertain a motion to open tonight's meeting. Can I get a motion, please? Can I get a second? All those in favor? Thank you very much. All right. Oh, Terry, who's going to take the notes? Joanne? No, I don't. Oh, yeah, you're right. And then someone has to transcribe them into something that the town of Stoughton can read. No. Mark Snyder couldn't make it tonight. Thanks for coming out to support the Stoughton Chamber and me, and most of all, the Stoughton Food Pantries, which is a great charity that I've been very involved in. And we're not gonna have what Gary Marino, who is our host tonight, calls death by speech. I'm not gonna do it because we're already a little late on the event, which happens at these events. And thanks for being patient. If you go to the bar and you want to drink, just get 2 or 3. That's what I do. And so there's a lot of great people in this room, incredible volunteers, friends. I could go around the room forever, but I'm just not going to do it, and they know who they are. Because if I did that, it would just turn into the Francis T. Crimmins Jr. all-nighter roast. For those of you that were here for that years ago. It was painful. I fell asleep. He's a great guy. I love him. He couldn't be here tonight. I'm not sure why, but he couldn't. And we've been there and done that. And I'm not running for office, so there's no reason for me to go on. I'm not running yet. So, just kidding. I'm honored to have been chosen as this year's Stoughton Chamber Roastee. I don't know what that was I dropped. I hope I don't need it later. And you know, I have great faith it's going to be a great evening for all of us. I walked in the room. I've done, I can't tell you how many events I've done in this room in the 7+ years I've been involved with the PNC and the chamber and all the things we do. And so I walked in, and I'm loading my equipment in like I always do, and there's a drum set on the stage. No podium, but a drum set. And I said, oh, they must have had that Cape Verdean band that plays here for church on Thursday, and they forgot to take the drum set. You know how those I won't say that. So then I see my good friend Doug Spencer, who's been in probably 7 or 8 bands with me, loading stuff, and I'm like, what are you doing? You never carry anything. And Doug is setting up a band, and so there's surprises. I have no idea what they are, but it's going to be good. So we're here for a lot of reasons, but most of all, it's to help people in need, and that's the people we have 2 food pantries. A lot of you people may know that. A lot of you people may not. We have 2. One that's the Immaculate Conception Church is sponsoring and in charge of, St. Anthony's Food Pantry, and one on Seaver Street. It's called Ilsa Marks, and a lot of the people from the pantry are here tonight to support me and to support what we do. And they're all volunteers, and they do a great job. They ask for little to no help. It's transparent what they do, and I mean, it's just incredible. And so we're here to raise money for them because people don't know it, but the way the food comes is they have to buy it. They have to buy it. That's how they get it. They get donations, and there's a lot of donations. There's a lot of great companies that donate, but the food has to be purchased from the Greater Boston Food Bank. And you know, you wouldn't know this unless you were involved. So we're here to raise money for that. And so there are donation cards on each table, and it takes about $10. Thank you, Dory. It takes about $10 a day to feed a family. And so, you know, give what you can, give as much as you can. And sometimes we're going to have a break, of course, because you don't want to just hear people doing what they do, whatever they're going to do, because I have no idea to me. But do what you can. The donation cards are there. Terry, Joanne, and maybe some chamber volunteers will come around and collect some money so we can raise some extra money to help feed some people. And this is a fundraiser, but it is a night to laugh. And who doesn't need a good laugh? And all my roasters, I hope you brought your A game, which I'm sure you did. And I actually, for the past 3 years, I've worked in comedy a lot, which I never thought I would ever do. We need a quick 6, don't go blue. Okay? Gary's the only one who gets that. And I didn't get it until someone did 12 minutes and went blue, and we almost lost the whole gig. So, and I always try my comedy out. Chad, my good friend Chad, always likes it. Hey, sometimes I like to take 24 hours and call it a day. See, that just never goes over well. It's just the deliveries. Or tonight I was going to shave, but instead I decided to wear pants. Yeah, see, I can't do it. Yeah, exactly. See, people are thinking, but the guy who wrote these jokes, who's a friend of ours, he would say these and people would stand up and clap. Like, hey, they're clapping. By applause only. How many people hate to clap? But I can't deliver these. So guys, a quick 6, don't go blue. Let's not kill this thing by speech. I'm looking forward to what everyone has to do. Alrighty though. It's a great life experience for me. Keep it clean. We're on TV, thanks to Jeffrey Pickette from Smack, my good friend. And right now, I would love to introduce our MC for tonight's evening. And let me see if I can get this right. This one goes out to my brother from another mother, who he and I have had more experiences in the past 3 years than I will ever. It's what happens at the Seacrest stays at the Seacrest. So he can be seen at comedy clubs across New England and Canada. He has recently played sold-out shows at casinos and resorts north and south of the border. He is the founder of Generation XL. He has appeared on Live with Regis and Kelly. He's the author of multiple best-selling books and screenplays, star of the Million Calorie March, drummer of the World Gone Crazy Band, spokesperson for Cialis, the list goes on. My bud, the one and only, Gary Marino. Give it up, everybody.
How we doing, everyone? Give yourselves a round of applause. Stoughton's favorite son, Chris Petrie. How about a round of applause? Woo! Look at all these microphones. I feel like I should be at an immigration press conference or something. I don't know. I'm Gary Marino. First, I'll tell you off the bat, I'm 100% Italian, and I'm from Medford, so we'll thank you. Thank you. 100% Italian, and I'm from Medford, so we'll pass out the transcripts after the show, okay? How about this weather out here? It's like, I don't want to say anything because you seem like a nice woman. I was going to go blue, Chris. But this woman gave you the hairy eyeball right here.
This woman, my mother?
Yes. Is that your mom?
Yeah.
Give it up, Mrs. Petrie. And is this your dad? How are you, sir? You're done good. And actually, sitting right over there, Chris's wife. Christy, yeah, she did come. Wife of 17 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
And happily married, I understand, 17 years. Not necessarily at the same time. And how about a hand for his 2 daughters over there? It's a family affair, which means we'll keep it clean As Chris mentioned, I met Chris 3 years ago. He was volunteering, which I didn't know how much volunteering he did until this roast came around. He was doing sound for an event, a fundraiser, and my band was playing there, and we hit it off, and we've been friends ever since. And he asked me to come and host. Well, he asked me first to be a roaster. He said, could you be one of the 9 or 10 roasters? I said, Chris, anything for you. 48 hours later, could you host the roast? Absolutely. Anything for you, Chris. And 48 hours after that, somebody called and said, could you play the drums for us? Anything for you, Chris. But I somehow plea bargained down from first-degree roaster to second-degree voluntary host. And it's all good, because like I said, anything for Chris. Is he a great guy or what? Yeah. So the problem I have was that I know Chris from the band, and we've had a lot of adventures, most of which I can't talk about tonight. But I don't know, we've only known each other a few years. I said, Chris, we got to spend some time on the phone, and you got to tell me, some things about you that we can make fun of if we're going to roast you. So here's what he said to me. Yeah, there's really nothing funny about me. I'm a regular guy. I have a regular life, right? There's nothing to poke fun of. So we got on a Skype call, my request, and we crashed his computer. Personally, I think it was the porn, but we crashed his computer. So I spent all night trying to find out things from Chris that we could make fun of, and according to him, nothing funny about him. So I broke down the conversation for you here. This is Chris's story. This is his life according to Chris. 30% of the time, 30% Windsor tire, 15 to 20% husband and father. Beg to differ, right, Christine? Yeah. Well, I put 15 to 20. It should have been 5 to 10, maybe. 10%, 15% working in the yard. Socializing, 7%. Again, this is according to Chris. 12% he spends on his hobbies. 8% sound and lights for the band, which is about right. And then 6% on Facebook. More than that? Yeah, we're going to get to that. Don't worry about it. So as you can see, there really wasn't a lot to work with here in terms of roasting them. And then I talked to the brothers Petrie.
Tell him you just learned my name.
I learned his name 24 hours ago, how to say it correctly. I've been saying Petrie for 3 years. Yes.
I correct him, he doesn't listen. He says, let's go get Chinese.
What I know is, yeah, he loves the Chinese and he does a great job on sound. So I get with the brothers Petrie. I said, look, your brother says there's nothing funny about him to make fun of. And just 24 hours later, here's what the chart looks like. All right? Yeah.
Gary, you need help?
No.
I usually help you.
It's changed. So I got 25% sleeping in front of the TV. One of the brothers said, Chris can watch TV all day, and if it's turned on, even better. I got 5% playing with the pellet gun, 8% doing Elvis in the mirror. Guy can't let it go. 12% of the time searching for sunglasses. An unknown percentage on internet downloads of questionable character. 30% of the time he's putting fires out inside of his own house. I guess you light a lot of fires. Most like half in and half out of the house, okay. Boating and fishing came in at 12%. They told me you catch nothing, by the way. Nothing at all. You call it fishing, but it's really boating and drinking. And then 8% of his time is on Facebook. You see it jump from 6 to 8. So this is what Chris's Facebook broke down to be. Buying pellet guns, sunglasses, golf carts, we've covered that. That's like a good 20%. Windsor Tire, you on the Windsor Tire Facebook site? You on that? Yeah. 20% buying back his own musical equipment. So you sell your equipment to make money and then you, for some reason, buy it back?
We'll buy other stuff.
Is that the stuff we use?
Yes.
Oh, sounds like it.
Hey.
And with 10% creeping. Self-explainable. I'm not going to get into that.
That's back when you didn't know how to creep.
That's right. That's right. Well, I'll get to that, yeah. Then a small percentage, he's fixing my mistakes on our band Facebook page. And then my favorite, 22% of his Facebook time is on Bianca Della Garza.
Oh, Bianca! Is she here?
And I really can't knock him because I was the one that turned him onto that site. Right, Chris? I really turned you onto that. Yeah. So then the last thing I did for you was I broke down Bianca Della Garza's Facebook page. This is 20% taking hot selfies.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Pretty good, right? 35% taking even hotter selfies. 45% responding to lewd comments.
Yes.
So that's Bianca Della Garza for those of you who want to check it out.
What about Nelly Carania?
All right, so bottom line is, I got nowhere with Chris or his brothers to the truth of who you are and what makes you up. So I thought what we'd do tonight, by the end of tonight, we're going to redo the pie chart,
Pie chart.
and we're going to know what makes this man who he is. Good idea?
Yes.
All right. We are going to have fun tonight. Yes.
Terry wanted to come up and introduce somebody before everyone starts.
Okay. So before we get cranking here, we want to get Terry Snyder up here to say a few words. Give it up for him.
He's too short.
I heard that.
Stand up.
Here we go. I'm walking on my knees. Just want to thank everybody for coming. I just want a couple of quick introductions and thank yous. I want to thank Gary and Lisa Smith of Peppercorns Cafe at the Y, who donated the fruit trays. And also, I'd like to obviously thank Portuguese National Club for having us here, and Target stores who gave us some of our snackies. And also, most important, I'd like to thank Nina Pestana and her mother Luge for Tito's cakes, which is all of the, yes, all, Nina, can you come up for a sec? So we can show people who you are. This is Nina Pestana. She's shorter than me. Nina is a graduate of Johnson & Wells, and she started Tito's Cakes, and all of the items in the back are all custom made by her, so we'd like to... Now he puts the camera down.
That's nice. Yeah, long day working with you.
I know.
Thank you.
Thank you. Want to say hi? No?
Hi, everyone.
Thank you, Nina. Anyway, I don't know if you guys have had some of those cupcakes, but they are phenomenal. And if you noticed, there was a little bit of a theme of the music and guitar theme and Oreo cookie notes and so forth. So thank you, Nina, for putting that together for us. And again, thank you to the Portuguese National Club for working with us on this event. Gary?
All right.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Gary.
All right. Thank you very much. Give it up for him, folks. Woo! I've been known to enjoy a cupcake from time to time myself, Chris. You know that? Oh, yeah. I made the movie Million Calorie March. I highly recommend you download it, Amazon.com. If you like Supersize Me, right? That's about a guy who ate junk food for 30 days. Wait till you see my movie. 30 years, nothing but junk food. All right, and the last thing I just wanted to mention before we get rolling, great organizations were raising money for tonight. I had no idea, Chris, you did all this volunteering. I mean, St. Anthony's Food Pantry, give them a round of applause. Ilsa Marks. And you volunteer on the library board, the Chamber of Commerce. Woo! He volunteers with Our Lady of the Worthless Miracle. I mean, this is unbelievable. Yes, Farmers Market. Give them a round of applause. The Master Planning Committee. Give it up for him. Guy volunteers for everything, doesn't he? I mean, he volunteered to do his own roast. I mean, this is unbelievable. I walked in, I didn't think I was gonna see him till 7. He's laying down duct tape. He volunteered me for this roast. This is a man who likes to give. And you know what? Is he not a beautiful person? Give it up for him. We need him. We need people like him. What the world needs now, Chris. All right, so we're going to bring up our first roast. You guys all know him. He is one of Boston's super lawyers.
Yeah.
Yes. Bloodsucker. Board of Selectmen. Please give it up. It's Bob O'Regan.
That's all right. No, I'm happy. Yeah. Chris wanted me to wear tights and a cape. I said I don't do that.
Come on, let me get that. This is what I do too, guys.
Yeah. See.
Not only am I'm in charge of all this stuff. Is that? Tell me where you would like that, sir.
You want me to tell you where I would like this?
Yes, that's what we do. This is what I do. I'm good at it.
This is your roast, so get ready.
I'm really good at it.
That's pretty good. But that's all I have to say. Thank you all for coming. I'm honored to be asked to roast Chris. The truth of the matter is I don't know him very well. I don't think anybody really does. So I did a little research, and I remembered how I first met him. Now, this is almost a true story. I'm a lawyer. I charge more to tell you the true story. So this is almost a true story. I met Chris. I buy a new car every 15 to 18 years, whether I need one or not. So I bought a new car, and it had pretty good tires on it. I didn't really want to drive it around. I had to go up to Salem for some business, and if you've been to Salem, you know what I mean when I say they want to take a new car. So I said to my wife, why don't you take my car today, and I'll take your car. So her car has front-wheel drive and new tires, and my car has rear-wheel drive and not new tires, and it snowed. So, needless to say, when I got home, I was in trouble because I could drive fine, and she was stuck at work for 3 hours trying to get out of the parking lot. And I was told I needed snow tires or heat in the doghouse. So I went on Tire Track. I researched, and I find you can buy these tires, and you can make a click and have them installed locally, and it drops down in Windsor Tire. I'd never done business with Windsor Tire, heard good things about Windsor Tire, so I pick up the phone and I call Windsor Tire, and they say, well, you should talk to Chris. He does all our internet stuff, whatever that meant, Chris. And so a few minutes later, Chris gets on the phone, and he says, yep, that's the tire. Have them shipped right here, and you want new wheels, too. I said, why do I want new wheels? I got wheels. He says, well, that car, they're nice wheels. They're, chrome something or other, alloy wheels. You don't want those in the salt and the sand and everything else. Get new wheels, and we'll just... Now, kid from East Boston, this was something I hadn't thought. You change your own tires, or someone takes the tires off your car in East Boston. You don't pay somebody to change the tires and store them, at least when I grew up in East Boston. So he says, no. They'll deliver here. We'll mount them. We'll balance them, and you'll be fine. We'll store them. We'll put them up. We'll put the new tire, your regular tires on in the spring. So that works out great. So it all works. I'm driving through Brockton, March or April, down by the registry, by the stadium. Not so great an area, and I hadn't thought about changing my tires, but I see a guy in a truck, and he's selling tires off the back of his truck, and that reminded me, I got to put my tires back. So I call Windsor, I drop my car off. About 3 hours later, I get a phone call. Bob, this is Chris from Windsor Tire. Yeah, you know the tires that we're storing for you? I said, yep. He says, they've been stolen. I said, what do you mean they've been stolen? He says, well, I went to the locker to get them, and they're not there. I said, what locker? He says, it doesn't matter what locker. I said, when did you go? Did you go yourself? He said, well, one of my guys went and he came back and said the tires aren't there. So I was a little mad. So I go down to Windsor Tire to have a conversation with Chris. It's the guy on the back of the truck in Brockton selling tires. It's this guy. So I figure that's where my tires went. I told him, you know, I saw you in Brockton selling my tires. He said, that wasn't me. But I happen to have a set of tires that will fit your car in stock if you'd like to buy them. I said, isn't that funny? So that's what I wound up doing, is buying my own tires back from him. And that's the kind of guy he is. So I met his mother. She told me some stories about his childhood. I guess it was a difficult birth. When he was born, the doctor turned him over and looked at Ellen and said, I think you have Siamese twins here. See, if I have to explain it, I just move on, right? Okay. So here's his first day of school, okay? His first day of school. We all think we like him, but, you know, we're like everybody else. I'm not sure we do. So his first day of school, his mother takes him to the bus stop, walks him down to the bus stop, and the bus is coming around the corner. And so she kneels down, and, you know, so she's right eye level with the 6-year-old Chris Petrie, and she looks right at him. She picks a couple of Fruit Loops out of his Fu Manchu. And she says, now, Chris, it's your first day of school. I want you to do what I tell you to do when I drop you off at the mall. He says, oh, you know what I mean? And he says, I think so. And she says, okay, just want to make sure. After school, you might see a strange man driving around, and he'll stop in his car and he'll ask you for if you want to ride. If he does, get in.
That was actually my dad that did that. My mom kind of liked it.
So now I don't know, Christine and Chris, now, they did this on purpose because Chris has issues with remembering things. We've all encountered that. Christine, Chris. You see a pattern here? What's your birthday, Christine? Do you remember your birthday?
April 30th.
Okay, we have a pattern here. So I asked Christine. I said, because I didn't know much about this. I said, how long have you been happily married? And she said, about a year and a half. I said, well, wait a minute. I've met your beautiful daughters. You know, they're older than a year and a half. She said, well, that's not what you asked me. You said, how long have you been happily married? Look what I have to deal with. A day here, a day there, it adds up. Chris and I were comparing, we're on the master planning committee, we see each other once in a while, so we were comparing, you know, getting older and physicals. He told me he went for a physical a couple of weeks ago, and the doctor told him, you know, he needed a urine test, and Chris has been online studying now for 2 weeks. So let me just wrap up by telling you why I think I'm here and why I'm glad to be here. The joke for this, which I'm not going to tell, was that the best thing Chris does every day for this town isn't coming to work with a small business that, if you drive through our commercial core, has been here and really represents the kind of opportunity that we want to recreate for the community. The dedication of that. All of you work with him. I know him from the Master Plan Committee. I know him from the Chamber of Commerce. You know, he will say things like Stoughton is my hometown. I know from his work for the farmers market, all this time he gives to come into town, and the joke was the best thing it does for the town when he comes into town, all these things, is leave. But I couldn't tell that joke, so I'm not gonna, because it's people like Chris who make this town what it is, and especially because we have a gentleman here who doesn't live here, who commits this amount of time, energy, and effort to help with the character and the quality of our life and all of the charity he's involved with, that really make it so worthwhile for us to thank him tonight for everything he does for our town, and to see him as an example for just a little bit of what each of us can do. If each of us could do just a smidgen of what this man does for our town, just think of where we could go. So, most of what I said was true. Thank you very much.
Bob O'Regan, everybody. How about it? It's great. You're a great guy. You're not a butt sucker at all. So I think we have our first slice of the pie, is what I heard tonight, right?
The pie.
The pie. We're gonna. This is your life, Chris.
Are you gonna eat the pie?
No, I'm gonna go 10% scamming clients. I mean, I'm filling it in, baby.
That was true.
You know it was true?
I didn't make any of that up.
We had a lot of tires stolen besides yours.
10%. We got a lot of roasters to go. All right, so next up, I just learned how to say Chris's name 30 minutes ago. And this guy, I took the crash course on. He is a member of the Stoughton Chamber of Commerce, works with the Food Pantry Foundation, supports the library, a realtor, longtime Stoughton resident. Please give it up for Fred Yaitanes. Yaitanes? Did I get it? Give it up for him, ladies and gentlemen. Did I get it?
No, you didn't. Okay, can you hear me okay up there in the back? Great. Okay, tonight we are all here to honor our friend Elvis Petrie. As you know, Elvis, or Chris as we know him, thinks he can sing. Well, Chris, when it comes to singing, you have no equal. Everybody is better. Early in his singing career, Chris was actually being ridiculed by the members of his band that he couldn't play any instruments. He decided that he was going to learn to play a couple of them, so he went to the music store, walked up to the clerk and said, "I'll take that red trumpet over there and the accordion." And after a second, the store clerk said, "Okay, you can have the fire extinguisher, but the radiator stays." I had a few political jokes tonight, but the problem is they get elected. And for my fellow speakers tonight, Bob O'Regan, for example, one of our selectmen, is also a lawyer. And so we asked, what do you have when 100 lawyers are buried up to their necks in sand? The answer, of course, is not enough sand. Actually, I've been privileged to serve on 3 nonprofit boards with Chris. At a recent meeting of one of them, one of the board's members asked to the group, if you could have lunch with anybody in history, who would it be? The answers went from Einstein to Winston Churchill to JFK to Gloria Steinem and a whole host of very influential people who have affected history in some impactful way. When it got to Chris, there was silence. He was thinking deeply and we all looked at him. And then he said, I've got to go with the genius who first thought of putting peanut butter and chocolate together. Now, I'm not saying that Chris thinks just about food, but have you ever seen him at a buffet? Chris and Joel actually were having a drink last summer in a bar in New Hampshire. A very attractive hooker approached Chris and said, this is your lucky night, and I've got a special game for you. I'll do absolutely anything you want for $300 as long as you can say it in 3 words. Chris thought about it and said, hey, why not? Pulled out his wallet, lays 3 $100 bills on the bar, and then says slowly, paint my house. Now, all of us know that Chris is tough with his money. He can get more value out of $1 than anyone I know. Now, I'm not saying that Chris is frugal. I'm saying he's cheap. Matter of fact, he's so cheap that last week, Terry Schneider actually bought him a cup of coffee. And for those of you who've been keeping the bar busy, Chris says, in wine there's wisdom, in beer there is freedom, in water there is bacteria, so stay away from the water. And also, alcohol doesn't solve any problems, but then again, neither does milk, so please have some more wine. And not that Chris drinks much, but he believes in a balanced diet, a beer in each hand. And I heard his doctor once found traces of blood in his alcohol. And it only takes one drink to get him drunk. Which one was that, Chris? The 15th or the 16th? And always remember, I before E, except in Budweiser. And of course, we all know that Chris can't die until the government finds a safe place to bury his liver. I asked Christine one day what she thought about what the key to this successful marriage was. She said, marriage is a relationship in which one person is always right and the other is the husband. When Chris hit middle age a few years ago, he said he felt old. Well, Chris, you know you're old when your wife says, let's go upstairs and make love, and your answer is, honey, I can't do both. And I just wanted you to know that age 50, men become bisexual. They get screwed by both Mother Nature and Father Time. Now, not that you're old, but a nursing home called me the other day, and the last person who thought you were generous, talented, and sexy just died. And you know you've hit middle age when doing it 3 times a night is how many times you get up to pee. And of course, an all-nighter means not getting up at all. And you know you're in middle age when getting a little action means you don't have to take any fiber today. And getting lucky means you find your car in the parking lot. On a more serious note, they say that once in your lifetime, someone comes along with whom you are absolutely meant to be with. The stars are aligned, body and spirit are in balance, and everything feels great. And for my friend Chris Petrie, that person is, of course, me. Oh, no, actually, it's his beautiful bride, Christine. Christine, after he proposed to her, said, let me see if I got this right. Now that you're out of school, you're going to sell tires in beautiful downtown Stoughton and you want me to marry you. What are you, me? Actually, as you all know, none of this is true. Chris is actually an amazing guy. He never says no. Do you know that he and Joel have been collecting food for the food pantries every month for years, quietly behind the scenes? Very few people know about the volunteer work that Chris does on behalf of others in need. He leads by example. He is truly one of the kindest, most generous people I know, and he loves the people of Stoughton the way that I do. So Chris, thanks for all you do, and congratulations for being honored tonight.
That was great, Fred. Thank you. Thank you so much. Look at that. What a man love going on tonight.
Look at the shirt, too.
Yeah, the shirt's beautiful.
Best shirts ever.
Yeah.
Okay?
All right, so here's what I got out of that. 10% hookers. But not for sex.
No, I helped them.
Yeah, I think it's nice. One of your things you volunteer with.
If they need a Christmas tree, I'm there.
Listen, got to give to the cause, all of them. Everybody having a good time so far? Yes. So moving right along, we have the Wizard of Ads, good friend of Chris Petrie's, Steve Fradkin.
Thank you very much. As you heard, I am a former Wizard of Ads. I am retired, as some of you may know, but you may have seen me on Community Forum or elsewhere. I got to tell you how honored I was. Well, before I do, I want to talk about the weather. I mean, have you been outside? It's cold out there. It is so cold. Oh, you can do better than that, can't you? It is so cold. Okay, not bad. That the selectmen had their hands in their own pockets. It's so cold that a flasher rushed up to Chris and described himself. It is so cold.
I'll get this, Steve, I promise. Steve works in the studio all the time. I got it.
Thank you.
Did you need this marker?
I hope not.
Okay, cool. Sit.
It is so cold that the mice are playing hockey in the toilet bowl. And they're doing better than the Bruins, as a matter of fact. It's so cold that I had lunch at Maxie's just for the heartburn. So cold that we had to cancel the meeting on global warming. Oh, that one went over like a lead balloon, didn't it? Anyhow, I want to know that I want you to know that I'm just so proud to have been asked to roast the governor of New Jersey. They asked the governor of New Jersey, he was on TV recently, I think he was on Community Forum, if he thinks that the scandals would hurt his chances of being president of the United States. And then he said, hey, we'll close that bridge when we come to it. Oh, excuse me for a second. I got a call. Hello? Yeah, hello? He's what? He's not the governor of New Jersey? What, did he lose the election? Oh, I see. It's Chris who? It's not Chris Christie, it's Chris Petrie. Who the hell is that? What does he do? He sells what? He sells tires? Did you think when he was a kid, oh, his mom is right here. Did he tell you that he wanted to grow up and sell tires? No, he didn't. I didn't think so. But that's what he does, huh? He must be tired. I never heard that one. Okay, that's okay, because he doesn't have enough spare time. It must be time to retire. I guess I should tread lightly because his mom is here. Chris was out fixing a flat tire out on the highway. It's part of his job, and he opened the trunk. He took out 2 cardboard men, cutouts, and he unfolded them, stood them up, facing the oncoming traffic. And they're both they're wearing, in the picture, trench coats, but they're exposing their bodies and private parts to the cars that were coming down the road, which of course they started to slow down as they came by. They wanted to look. Traffic started to back up, and they're tooting their horns and they're waving, and suddenly a police officer pulls up, one of Stoughton's finest. Do we have any Stoughton police officers here today? Oh, we can talk about them then. Anyhow, the Stoughton police officer pulled up and he says, "What's going on here?" Chris says, "I'm fixing a flat." The officer says, "What are these obscene cardboard men doing here by the road?" Chris says, "Hello? These are my emergency flashers." It took me a little while, too. Ben Kravitz. Where's Ben Kravitz? There he is. He's the founder of Windsor Tire. Is that right? Just last week, poor Chris, Ben told Chris, because of your tireless efforts over the last year, I'm going to have to let you go. Chris says, "Why?" Ben says, "Because it's a tire company." I guess his forecasts were inflated. Nice to see Selectman Bob O'Regan on the panel. 4 years ago, I had a friend who ran for selectman. What's he doing now? Nothing. He got elected. Also on the panel, and I'm going to give you a lesson on how to pronounce his name. His name is Yaitanes, an old friend of mine. His name makes my spell check cry. His father wrote a book. His son is an Emmy-winning producer and director. And Fred sold a house last week. With the lovely Nadine. Where is it? There she is. The Fred and Nadine team. But we're here to honor Chris. Chris, you're not yourself today. I noticed the improvement right away. Chris is the kind of guy girls dream about at night, better than seeing him in the light. One of the things that Chris and I have in common is that we're both performing musicians. And to his mother, when he was a kid, he did say, "Mom, when I grow up, I'd like to be a musician." And she replied, "Well, honey, you know you can't do both. Grow up and be a musician." But I do want to say to Chris, I want to thank you for all of the things you do for our town. And I just have one question for you. Why don't you move here?
Great job. Give it up for him, ladies and gentlemen. The Wizard of Ads. Here's what I got from that. I'll write this in a bit. Write it in now, actually. 10% flasher. Chris, we're really getting a slice of your life here, huh? We're really getting to the real you.
Gary, you know the real me. You've been with me.
All right, moving along. Coming up, good friend for, I guess, 16 years. But they've known each other for 18 years because the first 2 years he friggin' hated him. How about a hand for Joel Honig, ladies and gentlemen? The new and improved Joel, by the way. It's always the guys who don't need to lose the weight who lose the weight.
So you gotta come all the way from the back? What is this, the Yaitanes? No, I thought it was him up next. The Yaitanes?
Oh, come on, give me a break. Hey, yeah, sure, I'll take it. Thanks.
This is what I do at the roast, by the way. I assist the roasters. What else can I do for you, Joe?
I don't know that that's a lot of assistance. It's actually not placed appropriately. It should be over here.
Let me get up.
But if you'd like to come up and do it correctly, that'd be great.
Tell me
So,
where you want it. Where do you want it, big guy?
I'd like it right here, just a little step back.
I've heard that
Yeah.
before.
So what you might not know is that what Gary said is pretty accurate. I've
Do
known
you want me
Chris
to
for...
flip this, or do you need this?
No, what I'd actually like is for you to put those boards up there.
Okay.
And horizontally, please, with the black one facing forward. So this is a real juxtaposition about what our relationship has been.
And I have my own mic, by the way, and it's louder.
His mic is always louder, but Chris...
Because I'm in charge of the PA. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Sorry. Which one is first?
You know, now that you've done that, I have no idea which one's first, but you know what?
This one is blank.
I'll tell you what. We'll go like that.
Kind of like John Magner's mind.
We'll call that the first one.
Okay. Shall I stay?
You know what? I would love it if for one time you would just go away and let me talk.
So would my wife.
So talking about wife, occasionally since I've worked with Chris for so long, and we are actually very close friends, I've been called his work wife. And if his real wife, if her job is anything like mine, my sympathy goes out to her. Truly, truly. But what I'd really like to do is bring back a tradition from roasts gone past, and I'd like to actually throw it out there to some of the people that are on the board. And there's someone who's a roaster. His name is Ben Kravitz. And he's a former owner of Windsor Tire, the place that I work. And I would just really like to thank him for taking time out of his schedule to be here tonight. He is so busy, you know, between his golfing and his boating and his relaxing and until recently, his drinking. It's just awesome that he took the time to be here for this great charity. I don't think he actually knows what it's for, but he's here anyway. And I just really like to say, having known him for these many years, that Ben really cares about what we have no idea, but he cares. So thank you, Ben, for being here. So I took it upon myself to take a poll of people that Chris worked with and say, you know, what are some things that you know about Chris? What are some things that you could say about Chris? Because we're having this roast and we want to talk about, you know, how he shows up at work. And people came up with answers like arrogant and condescending, and I think that says flatulent. But I'm not even sure that some of the people he works with knows what that means. But eventually I told them we're looking for a positive attribute. And finally we came to a consensus. And everyone at work, everyone that works with Chris agrees that Chris is in fact tall. So thank you for being tall, Chris. We really love that. So I just want to say, when I first started to work with Chris, you know, we weren't really good friends. You know, it was an employer-employee relationship, right? But over time, we got to be friends. And how I knew that is he started to invite me over to his house, right? So he invited me over to his house, and I went there. And the first time I went, I installed a light in his dining room. And that was just awesome. So yeah, good times, right?
Still works.
Yeah, well, I'm really glad to hear that. So the second time I went, you know, being my good friend, I installed a motion sensor on the outside of his house. Hopefully that still works.
Still works.
Awesome.
If it didn't rain, come over.
And the third time I went over, I installed a GPS in his boat. And by the way, I don't own a boat. It's nice that you do.
That kind of worked.
And that kind of worked, you know? And the fourth time he invited me over, we did a little landscaping and a few other things. And hopefully that held up. But what I've noticed is he doesn't really invite me over to his house anymore, so I can only assume that things are going really great at the Petrie house.
So was that fourth thing?
Well, I'm glad to hear that too. And Chris has always been really, really supportive of all the package stores in Stoughton.
Only the ones in the chamber.
So there's a communication that I got that I'd just like to pass on to you all. And there are a few former board members from the Chamber of Commerce who couldn't be here, and they asked me to actually say something for them. So one of the board members said that he couldn't believe what an ass Chris was. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Asset Chris was to the board. Thank you so much for that. And there was another board member that said, and I quote, "Thank God he brought beer back to the meetings."
They're in the morning.
That's a good thing. So,
Yeah, we drink vodka.
so I don't know if you know, I don't know if you know this about Chris or not, but he's a very fierce competitor. So I brought something to him, and we both wanted to lose weight. So we decided to take on a weight loss competition. And we decided we would see who could lose the most weight over, I think, a six or 8 week period. I'm not sure. Right? And what I'd like to say about that is that the challenge was super, super close for the first 8 hours, and then it became 5 o'clock and he got beer. So one of the things I love about Chris is he is really forever hopeful. And one of the things that he has kept around forever and ever is something from his early rock and roll days, which are a pair of leather pants that he wore when I think he was about 18 years old, right?
I fit into them about 9 years ago.
Yeah, that's not true. Whatever he just said was a total lie, right?
The team sewed it back
Right. So actually, the only thing they're good for now is a scarf. But it's nice that he still lives at home. But he's also a brilliant, brilliant investor. And I just want to let you know that he's invested in some of the most, fantastic things that you've ever seen in your life. He has a 1967 Chrysler that's in his garage that someday is going to be his retirement. It's going to be worth millions and millions. So hats off to you for your investment strategy. So now I would like to address your attention to, no, is this the wrong way? Yes. So Chris has been the manager of Windsor Tire and general manager for longer than I've been there. And I'd just like to say that, the profit of the company has really taken a remarkable turn since he has been the general manager. I'd like to say that, but it was actually facing the right way the first time. So, all I can say about that is it's really not his fault, and it's been a down economy, and I'm his friend, and, anything else you'd like to put in. And, in the face of that, I'd like to say, the crowd out here is probably split into thirds, right? There's a third of you who probably know Chris and love him. There's a third of you who really want to support the food pantries. And there's the third of you who Chris actually personally paid to be here. So thank you so much, and you know who you are, right? So this next chart is really amazing, and this is a sort of a testament to how he supports the businesses of Stoughton, right? So this bottom line is Chris's actual beer consumption over the last quarter of 2013. And this second line, which you may not be able to see, that's how Andrade's Liquors actually predicts what their sales are going to be for the next fiscal year. And that's all thanks to Chris. So let's give Chris a hand for helping out local businesses. And I'd just like to say that also, while Chris was chairman of the Chamber of Commerce, the businesses that were involved in the Chamber of Commerce actually grew by 10%. So thank you for that. And over the same period of time, Terry Schneider actually grew by 15%. But in all seriousness, Chris Petrie is a uniquely just giving, loving human being. He is my brother. He is my friend. He supports this town like no one else. He really cares about people, and I am so proud to call him my friend. Thank you.
All right, nice job, Joel. Good job. Give him up. Give him a hand. This one was easy. 10% gay relationship with Joel. Ah, goodness. Hey, Joel, you look great, buddy. You really do. Yeah. I was, I'm thinking of getting back into shape myself. Then I realized I've never been in shape. This could actually be my shape. I have no idea. This could be, I might be in shape right now. At one point I had lost a lot of weight though, right, Chris? Yeah? Yes. Yeah, somehow I managed to lose weight and height. No idea how I did that. No, seriously, I was like 5'9" before, and after the weight loss I was 5'7". Must have been like 2 inches of fat in the bottom of my feet I didn't know about. You can read about it in my new book, Eat, Pray, Eat. We're going to keep things moving along here. We're going to take a break after our next roast to raise some money for the cause. But right now, let's bring him up. Chris's former boss, former owner of Windsor Tire, Ben Kravitz, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I'll just use it.
Okay. Let it go, Chris.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you. I'm kind of new to this. I don't think I've ever been to a roast before, so I really didn't know how to prepare. So I've taken a little different tack than some of these other people, and I want to start out really by saying good evening, everyone. I'm here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, to salute a great man. Chris Petrie is one of the kindest, warmest human beings that I've ever known. Over the years, Harvey and I have employed hundreds and hundreds of employees, and Chris stands out as really the best of the best. Not only is he a great employee, but he is truly a loyal friend, as you've heard already, a devoted father, as you've heard, a doting husband, and a thoughtful son. Chris, I'm sorry, I just can't keep reading this. Chris, I know sometime soon you're going to be coming up here to say thank you. That's probably part of the show. So I want to kind of preempt you a little bit, and I want to take this opportunity to say you're welcome. You're welcome for writing all that trash that I had to read earlier. You're welcome for my giving up a weekend and wasting time preparing for this nonsense. Most of all, you're welcome for hiring you in the first place. Nowhere else could a washed-up Elvis impersonator, trained as a hospital orderly, make the kind of money that you're making. So you're welcome. This is going to be fun. I get the opportunity to say weird and tasteless things right to someone's face with no consequences. For those of you who know me, or who don't know me, this is right up my aisle. Chris, you said not to spend much time preparing for this. You said there wouldn't be anyone here that was important. I look around, and you're right. Elaine, I have something to say about you, but I'm not going to, okay? I'm actually the person that interviewed Chris for the job at Windsor Tire, and I hired him. Back then, I was the counter man, and I was the manager of the store. And even now, when I go into the store, and I thumb through the work orders, I recognize most of the names as customers that I brought in. Chris, what the hell have you been doing for the last 25 years? As many of you know, Chris is an honest guy. He's incapable of lying. As part of the interview process, I asked him a series of questions to get a feel for his personality. One of which was, what do you think is your greatest weakness? Chris looked at me and he said, really, I think my greatest weakness is honesty. And I said, you know, in the auto repair business, I don't view that as a weakness. He said, I don't give a what you think. That's pretty much how our relationship started. Back?
Thanks for not bringing up the fact that I had just been arrested the week before you hired me.
I'm not sure I knew that.
No, you did. You actually asked me, have you ever been arrested? I said, yeah, actually, last week. My mother got me out of there.
We didn't do Corey stories back then, but just pay attention. This is going to take a minute to get this out because I'm going to try to be serious for a second. Back in the early 80s, I think it was, when we hired Petrie, he started as a tire changer, as all of our employees did. He was a sharp young man. He was good looking. He had great manners, thanks to Joe and Ellen down here. He really did have great manners. The customers loved him. The elderly ladies doted on him. Many wanted to fix him up with their daughters and some with their granddaughters. He was quite personable, and he studied hard to learn all about tires. It didn't take long for us to promote him from tire changer to counter sales, and he was pretty good at it. He had charm, he had talent, he was courteous to customers. Petrie was an exceptional find for the owner of a small retail business. Early on, we could tell that he was management material, and we had visions of him taking over as the manager of the store. But unfortunately, before that happened, David Petrie decided to go back to school, and we were stuck with his older brother, Chris. We loved having you, Chris. I mean, David.
That was a great year.
They were.
Joel's got a chart. The sales were through the roof.
I've known Chris, and I've worked with him for quite a few years now, and I can tell you that probably other than his parents, there's absolutely no one in this room that has a higher opinion of him than I do. And frankly, I can't stand him. True. Seriously though, when he was younger and he first came to work for me, he was 18 and 19 years old, and I treated Chris like I treated a son. I have 5 sons, for those of you who don't know, and I treated Chris exactly the way I treated any one of my sons. I would give him advice about his personal life, and he really treated me like just like my sons did. He totally ignored me. I gave him a car to drive back and forth to work in, and just like my sons, he never put a dime's worth of gas in him. Every week, we gave him money, sort of like an allowance, and again, like my sons, he never lifted a finger to earn any of it. So it was a pretty good relationship back and forth. Many customers say that they like Chris because of his warm personality. I took the opportunity to look warm up in the dictionary, and the definition was not so hot. Before Chris started working at Windsor, he drank, as you guys have all heard. He smoked, and he uses some pretty profane language. Now that he's had to put up with us owners, and he's had to put up with his employees, and especially had to put up with the customers, at least he has good reason to drink. Is that true? Okay, what the hell. A few guys stole a few of my other jokes, so I'm gonna move on here.
Were they online?
They may have been. Okay. In business, and especially in the auto repair business, seriously, honesty, integrity, and sincerity are probably the most important traits that any person can have. Honesty, integrity, and sincerity. And once Chris learned how to fake those, he really became a great employee. He did. It's not easy being a guest of honor at a roast like this. You have to sit here and you have to listen to insult after insult. But Chris is a perfect guest of honor. He's great about it. He just sits there and he laughs. He smiles. The bigger the insult, the more he laughs. I just want to caution the rest of you roasters here. If you get a really big laugh out of Chris, don't ever bring your car to Windsor again. I don't know if any of you have heard this story, but Chris was down outside the package store, I think across the street here, a while ago. And I promised I wouldn't tell any jokes about his drinking, so I'm not going to. But he was outside the package store, and there was a homeless, a shabby-looking guy there sitting, and he was begging for money. And Chris went, and he took a $10 bill out of his pocket, and he held it up in front of the guy, and he said, you know, if I give you this, are you going to go out and buy booze with it? And the guy looked at him and said, no, I gave up drinking a long time ago. And Chris said, well, if I give it to you, are you going to pay for greens fees with it? And the guy said, no, I'm not going to do that. And are you crazy? And Chris said to him, well, if I give you this, are you going to buy tobacco or cigarettes? Are you going to smoke? And the guy says, no. And Chris said, well, I'm not going to give you the money then. He goes, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to take you home. I'm going to take you home. I'm going to give you get you a shower, get you cleaned up, and I'm going to have my wife Christine make a nice home-cooked meal for you. And the guy looked at him and said, are you serious? Won't she be furious with you for that? And he goes, you know, she might be, but I really want her to see what happens when you give up drinking, smoking, and what was the other thing? Swear? Oh, golf. Oh, yeah, golf. Has everyone in this room heard of the South Beach diet? Okay, well, has anyone in this room heard of the South Beer diet? About, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago, I went on the South Beach diet, and Chris had his own little variation of it. He called it the South Beer diet. I lost about 2 pounds a week, and Chris, I think, lost about 2 hours a day. That's true. Over the years in the shop, Chris has said some pretty strange things to me. I mean, once Once he said, you know, if we can't get the brakes to work in this guy's car, should we install a louder horn? On another occasion, a man came in and he told Chris that he wanted to get 4 tires for his wife. And Chris looked at him and said, I'm sorry, sir, we don't take trades. Ooh. Bob O'Regan, you're a lawyer, is that right? Super lawyer. Super lawyer, oh, super lawyer. Oh, all right, okay. I was reading somewhere that 99% of lawyers give the rest a bad name. Is that true? I didn't know. Several years ago, I'm going to tell you one more quick story before I leave. Several years ago, we had a Greek immigrant working for us. His name was Panyote Vasiliadis. We called him Peter for short. In those days, we didn't do a very good job. Actually, we probably did no job of seeing whether these guys were legal, whether they had green cards or anything like that. So we had absolutely no information on Peter. We really didn't know much about him. And because his English was very poor, we really had virtually nothing on file. It's a true story that one day he was running across the street to the Cumberland Farm store to get a drink or something, and he was hit by a car, and he ended up getting, an ambulance ended up taking him into Boston City Hospital with a coma. And you know, while this was all going on, one of the Stoughton policemen, I think it was one of the Drago brothers at the time, came in, and they, you know, they wanted to ask Chris some questions. And you know, they said, you know, did you know his name? And you know, he said Peter, but I can't pronounce his last name. He wanted to know any information that Chris had about the guy. You know, do you know where he lives? And Chris said, no, I really don't know where he lives. He said, you know if he has a family? And Chris said, you know, I really don't know if he has a family. He said, do you know if he, how long he's been in the country? And Chris said, you know, I really don't know how long he's been in the country. The officer Drago was getting a little frustrated, and he said, you know, is there anything at all, you know, that you can tell me about this guy? And Chris, you know, thought about it for a minute or two, and you know, being the polite son of Joe and Ellen, he said, yeah, you know, I do. The guy has two rectums. Now, Officer Drago looked at him and he said, wait a minute, now hold on a second. He goes, you don't know if he has a family. He goes, you don't know where he lives. You don't know how long he's been in the country, but you know he has 2 rectums. And, you know, Chris said, yeah, and Officer Drago says, well, how do you know that? You know, how do you know that? And Chris said, well, he goes, you know, Peter didn't speak very good English, and he didn't make any friends at the shop or anything like that, so, you know, the last week or so, Joel, Honig, and I would take him down to the town spa for lunch. We just wanted to be nice to the guy, and we would take him to the town spa for lunch. And he said, yesterday we walked into the town spa, and Dick was at the bar there, and he looked up, he saw us come in, and he said, here comes the Greek immigrant with the 2 I can't leave without saying, Chris, you've done a great job. Seriously, you deserve it. You deserve everything you've gotten tonight. Thank you.
All right, give it up, Ben Kravitz. You know, I hope you'll all join us next week when we do the other fundraiser to raise money to edit the living crap out of this video so we can hear. Are we going to take a vote on this next one, on the pie chart? You guys tell me which one you want. 10% washed up Elvis impersonator, 10% putting Windsor Tire down into the red. Which one? Show of hands. Elvis? Let's see a show of hands, Windsor Tire. Ben, even Ben didn't put his hands up. All right, washed up Elvis impersonator.
All right, guys, we're going to take a 5-minute break so you can go to the bar, get a couple drinks. We don't want to keep you here all night. Thank you so much for coming out. We have the donation cards. We are here to raise money for the food pantries, so please, yeah, Terry Schneider, stand up, Terry. I am standing. Okay, cool. I had to use that again, sorry. Terry can take credit cards, Terry can take cash, make a pledge, $10 will feed a family for a day. We have 2 food pantries in Stoughton that are busy all the time. That's why we're all here, And so far it's been very fun. And thanks for all coming out. We'll be back in like 5 minutes, so grab a couple drinks. And we've got a lot of surprises in store. Thank you very much. And I'm going to turn it over to my good friend, brother from another mother, Mr. Gary Marino.
Thank you, Christo. Give it up for him. I got it. No, really, give him a hand. Have you ever seen a guy plan, produce, host his own roast like this?
And fix the sound.
Serious multitasker.
I don't like the sound right now, Gary.
Hey, by the way, somebody just came up and said you got to knock it off with the retread jokes. And I said, what do you got? No, someone came up and said this to me.
Really?
Yeah, and he said,
You gotta take them out?
no, he said that you're going off on the retread jokes. So he said, tell him that the only reason he was here tonight is because he couldn't hang out with his good friend Bill Cosby. It's not so easy, is it, sir, who came up to me, huh? You want to take over? All right, we're going to keep moving on. We've got good old friend, one of the oldest friends, actually, that Mr. Petrie has. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, Ray Goulet.
Hello, folks. Hello, folks. Can everybody hear me? Perfect. Perfect. That's just what I want. All right. It's times like this that I wonder. Where's the sound guy? Can everybody? Let's try that again. Are we good? Are we good? Okay. Are we good? Everybody can hear me. Fantastic. God bless. All right. So it's times like this that I wonder, what the hell I'm friends with Chris for. This isn't really my normal cup of tea, but I've been friends with Chris for 37 years. And we are about to enter the multimedia portion of our program. So I thought, rather than a series of canned jokes, not that anybody would have done that, you're going to see a little bit of photographic history of Chris Petrie in his prime, in his absolute prime. So I thought this, since Chris is a man of many hats, he's, you all have heard all the great things that he's done and in different ways that you know him, whether you're a friend, whether you're...
I'm OCD and ACD and all that stuff. We want to hear you.
You're messing with my chi here.
You're cheating, but you can't. We just got to get you right there. It's what I do.
Can anybody hear me?
Okay, Gary's thing is going to move.
All right.
Bob's going to take care of it now. And you're going to see the divorce rates go up.
So many of you know Chris in many different ways. You've known him through the food pantry, through the Chamber of Commerce, through the Master Planning Committee, through Windsor Tire, friends, many different ways. And as I think we all know, Chris is a man of many hats. And as I went back through some old pictures of Chris, back when he was somewhat younger than he is today, that's probably never been more evident. Every single picture I found of him had a hat. Not always a good hat. Good. Next, please. Up. Don't get ahead of it. Don't get ahead of it, Jay. You're gonna steal my thunder. Tennis hats, boating hats, and oh look, a Miller Lite. Surprise, surprise. Next slide, please.
Yeah!
How's that for a nice, beautiful hat, farm hat, and nice hair too? And no, that wasn't talking about you, Christine. I was talking about Chris. What fantastic hair we have there. Next up.
Yeah!
This is Chris about 1988, I believe, vacationing with a bunch of friends. And as you probably can imagine, Chris was always the catalyst for getting stuff together, having good parties down the Cape. This is pretty much our modus operandi for many, many years.
What's with the white shorts, though?
Oh, you're going to see better shorts as we go along. Next slide, please. There's no boat anywhere, if I'm mistaken here. This is an indoor event. It is what it is. They say no more. Next slide, please.
Oh my God!
Hats for swimming. Doesn't everybody wear a hat swimming? Whether you're wearing a superhero starred towel shirt, superhero towel, whatever it is. I think. Oh yeah. Surprise, surprise! It's a tire hat too. Yeah. Next slide, please, Jay. Hats for drinking. That's a Bud Light case if you're looking at that. Next slide, please. Hats for the entire Rush fan club of one. Doug Spencer, who's going to be up here next, and you can enjoy his talents in a moment or two. Next slide, please. This is hats for after drinking. I'm not sure what the hell's going on there, but I'm pretty sure he's wearing Depends. Next slide, please. And hats, in all seriousness, and a proposal. This is a reenactment of your proposal with lovely Christine. When literally on the day that you guys got engaged and we zipped down the Cape to meet you guys. He even wore a hat for that event. So.
Oh my God!
Next slide.
Oh my God!
Hats for fancy occasions. Next slide. Hats for craft night. Next slide, please. Hats for laughing, or on the left, hats for flatulence. I think we're seeing a recurring theme here. Nice shorts, by the way. Next, yeah. Oh yeah, that's your thing. Next slide, please. All right. So we all know how much Chris has been involved with music his whole life, whether it's through an affinity for Elvis or actually playing music. A few nice pictures will follow here. Next slide, please. I'm not sure where he got his affinity for Elvis. I really haven't quite been able to figure that out, but can everybody see okay? Thank you. Yeah. No, you can leave it on, please. That's helpful. All right, keep going. Okay, great. I'll deal. Sorry.
It wasn't Elvis, it was Liberace. Everybody's your mom.
Fantastic. Yeah. Next slide, please.
Oh, come on!
So whether he's entertaining for many or for one himself, he's always been an Elvis fan. Next slide, please.
There's always a mic.
And even when he's riding a bike, he's breaking out the Elvis. Those of you that know Chris, this is the classic move right here. You'll see it over and over again.
Sure that's not Doug?
No, that's your point. Next slide, please. He can even channel Elvis for no apparent reason. Any random photograph, the Elvis sneer will appear. And he's wearing a hat. Next slide, please. Doesn't need a cape to be Elvis. Just the hips alone can characterize the Elvis persona. Yeah, next slide, please. So, seriously, Chris has been in bands, for a long time, right? I guess it's about 30 years, right?
Yeah.
30 years or so you've been doing some kind of bands.
Paper cuts.
Yeah.
First cut.
It dates back to a really early time when a few of us, Jay,
Yeah.
Chris, myself, Tom Mulkern,
Yes.
we tried to form a band, and at the time, the only song that I knew was a B-52 song, And it's the only one I ever learned to play, so I didn't really advance beyond that stage. But Chris, despite his God-given talents, advanced beyond that. Next slide, please.
Oh my God. Where did you get this?
So
Oh my God.
So in his serious, really serious band days, Chris hired a professional photographer to take these photographs. If you're not really sure, Chris is the third one from the left. I like to call that the Linda Carter tribute band, or Wonder Woman, because that's as close as I can figure out what he looks like. Next slide, please. Ah, yes, and Chris the Mighty Sportsman. We got a few great shots of Chris in action in the great outdoors. Chris likes to be outdoors. As we see from the pie charts, he spends quite a bit of time out there in the yard, and on his boat. So a couple of slides. Next slide, please, Jeff.
Oh God, no!
How about them shorts, huh? Woo! Sexy time.
Hey, what are you holding on to?
This isn't about me, Chris. Notice the elements of safety at work here. He's got the back brace, super short Dennis Rodman shorts, and a chainsaw. And a hat. Fantastic. Next slide, please. I don't even know how to explain this one. Romping through the woods, but he looks happy. That's all I could say. He looks happy. Might be a little special needs, but he looks very happy. Next slide.
In the woods. That's when we met Bob Copeland. We met Bob Copeland that time. He was such a nice guy.
He's either channeling Elvis once again or he's epileptic. I'm not sure. Next slide, please.
Oh my God.
Hardcore, mighty woodsman at work here in the frigid waters of New Hampshire. I think he actually had pants, just to clarify that, in case any of you are not sure. This is not some kind of a gay event, and Joel's nowhere near this event. So. Next slide, please. And for those of you that know the Elvis history, he might have been shooting at Robert Goulet on the television here. I'm not quite sure. It's an interesting picture. Soak it in for a minute, if you will. I think there might have been Miller Lite involved. Next slide, please. Ah, okay. And this is the quintessential mighty sportsman moment. If we can push on that. This is a fantastic golfing outing. If you can push on the play arrow there, Jay. Up, go back up one.
Jay's not good with computers at all.
No, not at all. Your little mouse guy now. Where the hell is the other one?
Golfing, man.
Here we go. Oh. Would anybody like to see that again? If we could just slow it down. Thank you, Jimmy Flaherty, for that little nugget. Next slide down, please. All right. So in his early days, Chris had a reputation of, let's just say, flaming out a little early. We all used to have a cocktail or two, but inevitably about 8 o'clock, Chris would be passed out somewhere. Next slide, please. I can't tell you how many pictures we had in our collection of Chris sleeping somewhere. I'm not sure what's happening to the left, but the younger ones might want to avert their eyes.
White shorts!
He's even sleeping with a hat on, if you notice that. I mean a hat. Yeah. Next slide. Sleeping on a tarp with a hat. Next slide, please. All right, so I had a great deal of fun trying to find all these pictures and put them in some cohesive way, but my wife, Jean, my better half, clearly, thought we should end this on a slightly more elegant note than embarrassing pictures. And this was in our pictures, a collection of pictures that Christine provided to us.
That's in New Hampshire at Sunapee.
Sarah and Lindsay, his daughters. What a sweet picture, isn't it? And if I were a better man, I'd leave it there, but I'm going to flip it one more. This pretty much represents the way I grew up with Chris. So thank you for your time, folks. And I hope you enjoyed seeing a slightly different view of Chris than maybe what you're used to seeing. And in all seriousness, I think everybody here probably appreciates Chris for who he is and the good friend that he is. I've been known him for 37 years. And there maybe there's times that we don't see each other, but there's times that I need help and I know exactly who to call. And there's no delay. So I hope you all have one or two good friends in your life, as good as I have with Chris. Thank you.
Nice job, Ray. Give it up for him again. Nice. How about those pictures of the band? You know what I could never figure out? Where'd you come up with the name Insufficient Funds?
We didn't have any money.
What, was financial crunch taken? IRS audit, somebody had that? Insufficient funds. How'd you know if it was a check coming in or a bank statement? Okay, hey. I'm just really, these aren't jokes, I'm asking them this. We're going to move on with one of the brothers, Petrie. Got it straight from the tap. Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Petrie. I'll tell you, I am going to switch out the weight problem for a drinking problem tonight. Jay Petrie.
So I got to tell you, it's nice hearing so many nice things about my brother. I got to thank my parents. They really gave me two built-in best friends with my brothers here, and it's really nice hearing so many nice things about Chris, and some not so nice things. So I'm not a comedian, I'm not a good speaker, and I'm like, what the hell am I going to do? Chris asked me to do stuff. Chris and I share music together. And there's this ongoing Elvis theme, so I'm really glad I picked this. And if Doug and Gary can come up here and give me a hand with this. I rewrote an Elvis song. If Chris really was Elvis, this would probably be what this song sounds like.
Can I fix the sound because I'm very picky with my sound?
So the ironic thing here is I had kind of planned this and I was going to do it by myself. And Doug called me up a couple of days ago and he's like, Jay, I was thinking of doing some music. You want to play? And I was like, wow. Yeah, my guitar will be there anyway. You want to play? He's like, yeah, sure. So let's see if I can pull this off. I can get a lot of time practicing. You guys ready? 1, 2. 1, 2, 3.
Well, bless my soul, what's wrong with me? Have more gas powered toys than a man in need. Can't help collecting anymore. I see a new oh, hey, I'm all shook up. Yeah, yeah. I got 6, 7 crusts, but these are tears. Been showing up for years in my old garage. Everywhere I looked, there it's there, it's a river. I'm all shook up. Yeah, yeah. When I'm near that engine that I love the best, my heart beats so scared. My cross I'm growing till my A to B. Snow is rotten and old on the trees. There's a dozen yard's a mess. Yeah, yeah. My tongue gets tied when I try to speak. My inside shit like the funtree. There's only one cure for the soul of mine. It's the stuff that looks so fine.
Yeah, glad I could kill that one fast.
All right. All right, give it up from Jay Petrie. We rehearsed that one for weeks. Let's give it up for our next roaster, Doug Spencer, ladies and gentlemen.
Check, check.
Check. Check.
Check him, Doug. Check him
This one, this one, this one,
Doug, that's a good one right there.
this one, this one.
Yeah, did you want a new shirt?
That song was supposed to be an A. 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 So, there are a lot of really nice things I'd like to say about Chris. But there's a time and a place for everything, and unfortunately, this is neither the time or the place, so I'll save that speech for when you're stuffed in a pine box. Which may be the next time we're all together in the same room.
It's kind of rough.
I know.
I'm well and sure.
You like it? So I'm proud and I'm honored to say that I'm a close enough friend to Chris Petrie, AKA Sonny Johnson, or whatever he's calling himself these days. And I felt compelled to stand here tonight and do my best to undermine all the good things, wholesome thoughts you may have left of him and his doings. And I apologize in advance if I don't accomplish this, but I'll keep trying. You heard from many different people and family tonight about this and that, but I'd like to talk about having to have witnessed Chris's flamboyant, artistic, and musical side ad nauseum over a span of 30 years.
Yeah!
We played music together in various bands, learning and creating at the same time, without guidance or limitations at a young age. Our imagination was in the driver's seat and we just put it to the floor, but our ideas were never on the same trajectory. A clear lack of significant talent, an overabundance of attitude and determination, and a fully stocked fridge kept us motivated just enough to keep it together and not pick each other's eyes out. I've had to bear the brunt and negative effects and embarrassment of all your obsessions, like with Elvis and your lousy taste in music, your weight loss strategies, pounding Slim Fast and eating protein bars, stuffing your gut into a back brace so your leather pants would fit, coloring your hair and beard, never going anywhere unless you've packed everything you can think of ×3. Having to share in a colorful and moderate alcohol experience that's gone from horrible Miller Lite to great Harpoon IPAs and all the way around to Coors Light again. Yeah. And having to be the designated driver to cart your ass everywhere under the sun the whole time.
Know where you been.
It all started back in the 80s, the mid-80s, I'd say. I was out of high school and settled on playing bass because there were too many guitar players around. I was very determined to be good at whatever it was that I was doing, and at that age I loved music, cars, beer, girls, and karate.
Get lost us?
Yep.
Karate. Let's talk.
Doug, I'm not sure about the girls either. Because I remember them being around.
And I would learn with Chris. I could do all of them at the same time, yet at a whole new level. I played in my own heavy metal band and worked really hard to progress in my own and loved all the music that motivated me through the awkward years in life. We used to practice at a warehouse where all the other bands would practice and kids would hang around and socialize. Chris's band needed a bass player, and I was looking to play with more experienced players. They were older and cooler and played at local bars, and I wanted to know what it was like. So I wheeled my stuff over and we jammed and hit it off real well. But it was different, and they played stuff I called classics and oldies. I knew I'd be walking away from what I wanted to play, but the upside was I'd learn a new style and I'd put my spin on it. But I couldn't quite figure out Chris. He had long hair, looked the part. He could sing, which nobody at the time had the guts to. He liked cars, he could talk the talk, but the Elvis thing bugged me. And I thought it was just a case of ignorance, and I straightened him out. But what really impressed me was he could put away a case of beer. And at that impressionable age, I was happy I had somebody to work with. I was good. So we worked really hard and played everywhere, even recorded our own music at a real studio. I was real proud of what we accomplished. But as time proves, all good things come to an end. And we worked just as hard at work. And we always had plenty of cars to fix, pay the bills. We grew old together, got married, bought houses, and had children. We would always find ways to play music together in other bands, and we actually got much better. Chris could always motivate me and others to do whatever task was worth doing. He helped form our latest and best band, Insufficient Funds, which I named, by a bad check that I had to take one day, and I watched it getting written out. And we played the best. We played with the best musicians and shared the most rewarding experience. Chris was always prepared and worked out all the details. I don't know how he does it. He would sing and run around all night after a full day at work, set up, break down, haul all the equipment. It was exhausting. We had to have the biggest and heaviest equipment around, twice as much as we have here. And Chris and I usually ended up carrying it all in and out, and by the end of the night, it usually made for an epic struggle, screaming and yelling over various lifting techniques and moving, navigating doorways and the dreadful 3 flights of stairs. One time, Chris stumbled down the stairs with a 300-pound wooden case we called the coffin chasing him to the bottom, most likely from insisting on wearing snakeskin cowboy boots. He insisted that they were special due to his foot condition, whatever that was. And even after that, he would still find the time and energy to hurl these epic punches and kicks, doing his best homemade martial arts impressions, accompanied with sound effects and screaming, yelling, and moaning in front of whoever could see. Because I studied karate, he expected me to be able to predict, block, and immobilize any attack at any given time without anyone getting hurt. Needless to say, I received many blindsided beatdowns. Eventually, I learned and adapted special techniques that would end up with him and his face on the ground and his arms hyperextended over his head. Yet another sideshow with him as a star. After some 30 years of studying karate, the only time I ever had to use it was to protect myself from Chris. I hope you're proud of that.
I still have injuries from it.
After all this, he'd be at work on Saturday or church on Sunday.
Rock on!
He truly cared and believed in what he was doing, and I was proud to do my part. But when work was done and it was time to kick back, look out. Proof of this state of mind is clear in what I call his summer leisure wear. An appearance when he's off the clock. We all get like that, but Chris does it so much better. Yeah. So it starts with big and baggy tank top. His neck, shoulders, and arms are scorched and off reddish brown and have the look of dried leather. His hair is unkempt and the coloring is washed out. His sunglasses are bigger than his face. Big and tall, roomy shorts going down to the knees. Beer belly standing proud. But the worst part is he's got these pasty white legs and feet that look waterlogged, stuffed into leather loafers. I don't get it, nor does anyone else. So the guys at band practice one night were killing themselves trying to come up with the words to describe them. It's like, and then it hit me. I blurted out, boiled chicken dinner. That's the best analogy I can give. That's the look of I'm done and get out of my way. It's like a bloated tick that rolled off a dog. The contrasting colors, textures, and disproportionate shape, all working together to say, F off! But seriously, after all the years of playing music and learning all the different styles like rock, pop, blues, swing, souls, R&B, even disco.
And Mustang Sally.
Yeah. I could never get him to play or sing my music. Progressive rock or heavy metal. Yeah. He wouldn't even listen to it. It's truly the only time I can think of where he says the words I can't. I can't sing high. I can't sing falsetto. I can't sing aggressive heavy metal. It hurts my throat. Blah, 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 wah, wah, wah. I pleaded with him that we'd work around it. It would open up a whole new genre of music that I've been dying to play in a band, but nope, never tried. Not once. But tonight, you're on the hot seat and you're going to sing. But you're going to sing what I know you can sing. You're going to sing high, falsetto, aggressive heavy metal, all at the same time. And I'm going to need everyone's help to sing along. So will you come up here and let's sing a song together. What do you say? Let's do this right. We're going to put the words up on the screen, right? And I'd like everybody to follow along, just like karaoke.
Can we get these lights down, please? Lights down, please.
So I came in here tonight. And I saw drums and this weird yellow bass amp. And I said, who would buy such a yellow bass amp? And I said, someone didn't pick up, from, as I said, from the Cape Verdean church thing they have here on Thursdays or Fridays. And then Doug was setting up, and so this was not planned. And thanks for hanging around. Thanks for supporting the pantries. Thanks for being so nice to me. And it's a shame I have to wear glasses for this. Because, Jake, this light isn't on, by the way. And my computer at home doesn't work. When are you coming over? Okay?
There's a light.
Okay, and I need to cover one of my boats that I couldn't sell. So can you help me? My lawnmower broke.
You're the one that sells tires. I don't know how to sell stuff.
Well, I can. All right, but anyways, what a great time. Thank you so much, everybody. Do we have any roasters left?
JB!
All right, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna do whatever we're doing, which I have absolutely no idea. And then my little brother David, who is fresh out of Provincetown, is gonna come up. And yeah, he's lost 67 pounds. Gary and he are gonna hang out together a lot.
You took it from me.
Hey, I actually lost 4 pounds. Okay? I got lighter shoes.
Is that big? I can't sing Rush.
All right, so Doug has always liked Rush. So we'd be at practice. I met Doug in 1988. All right, so, am I doing Rush? Oh, you're such an ass. I can't read this unless I...
No, they aren't. So, we can stop right now. Stop. Guys, thank you. Does anyone know who AC/DC is in this crowd? All right, so Dan Kelly doesn't like them. Why? Are they like a gateway?
Are they? Okay. Well, Doug rewrote the lyrics, and if you didn't realize what the lyrics were, they kind of summed up what I did back in the band before I was married and before I was in love with my wife, who is actually still here. For those of you who don't believe she exists, she is right there. Because a lot of people say, oh, you got a wife? Yeah, I got a wife. You got a wife, you know. She's right there. But, so Dirty Deeds, and Doug rewrote the lyrics, and we will post them on every page on Facebook that I post on. I have 17 pages that I'm involved in. And we will put them on the Master Planning Committee page, because Noreen's a friend of mine. The Solar page. St. Anthony's. Actually, that's probably a bad idea. Priest might not like that. Suzanne will do it, though, because Ilsa Marks doesn't have a page. So, Doug, do you want me to read through these lyrics for the end? Or do you want me to go through something? You know, I have no idea what you're going to do. Elvis. Elvis. All right. So I hope we collected a lot of money for the food pantries, and I'm going to do some Elvis. I'm really honored. I'm really humbled. I'm really, you know, we were worried about ticket sales. It didn't, and you know what? Terry and Joanne and the chamber and all the things I work for. No death by speech, but thank you to all of you. So what are we singing? You know what? I don't need glasses for this one. Terry's coming up. I can't see him though. Gary, are you there, Gary? Where are we going for Chinese food afterward? I may need some Chinese food therapy. That's what Gary calls it. Gary will go to a Chinese food restaurant after a gig. It's like 11:30. He's amazing. And he'll say, we're here for Chinese food therapy. Oh, we're closed. He's like, no, you don't understand. We need 2 poo-poo platters. My friend needs a beer. And they're like, all right, we'll open the place. I guess he's been here before.
It's all true.
And he's
all true. Enough of me. Let me make this announcement.
All right.
All right, good announcement here. The Prone Family Foundation is matching the $2,000 raised with another $2,000 donation.
I'm going to dedicate this song to my good friend, Steve Cronin. I have no idea what this song is. I'm not sure if I know the words. I can't see anything because I'm blind. And but we've had such a good time, and thank you. What are we singing, guys? I'm not sure I like this song. Who picked this song?
winded. That's the first full song I've actually done in years. My band, we do like one verse and we're out. How about a hand for Jay? Doug! Nice job. But we have exhausted every roaster within a 60-mile radius, I think. Really, you don't know there's more? Oh, I know we got our boy coming. There's a reason, David, I think they put you last. Yeah. Something about the tape running out, or they were hoping people would leave.
You gotta drive for Provincetown.
Yeah, Provincetown. Here we go. Last but not least, give it up, it's David Petrie.
How do we turn off the lyrics? How do we, yeah, shut that down, Ray. Which one should I be at, Sonny? This one?
Yeah, the podium mic.
All right.
I got that hot.
You know, I spoke with Gary for the first time the other night, and I was explaining to him that years ago when I ran Windsor Tire.
Almost done, guys.
There you go, almost done. Almost done. We're going to have some audience participation in a minute. You guys can all...
David's
What?
shirt is amazing.
Chris is amazed by any shirt that doesn't have food on it. Or a logo. So, everything he has a logo.
Yes.
So, blue screen will work, I guess. Anyhow, it's been a long night. And what I'm going to do, you know, when I was the youngest brother. I'm still the youngest. I'll probably live the longest. I'm happy with that. And anyhow, but being the youngest brother, I idolized my older brothers because I didn't know any better. It was a very small gene pool, and they seemed to have everything. So I wanted to be them. And they wanted to have nothing to do with me. So, yeah, which you did it on occasion. So it's payback time. Anyhow, so tonight, I've decided I am going to be my brother Chris.
Yeah.
So, all right? And to make things, I'm going to do your thank yous for you. Okay? So that we can just wrap it up. You're going to be done. So, all right. Flight costume. Here we go. Ah, yeah. Yes.
You look good with hair, Dave.
Yes, I do. All right. Thank you all for coming. Rock on! Rock on! Where's Manny? Manny, put it on the book face. Get it on the book face, Manny.
Manny doesn't have the book face.
You got a book face. Manny's got the book face. You know, people say I repeat myself. I don't repeat myself. You know, you guys all laughed. I put a dead animal on my head to look like my brother, and you all got it. It's hot up here, though. I'm just going to go with the glasses. Anyway, so I have a list because my memory's not so good. Do you want the wig?
No, those are my glasses.
They can be yours.
I wear my underwear drawer. Did you steal those?
You know, all right, I'm going to be myself for a minute, I have to say. I was doing this reading in Cambridge, okay? You know, because when I spoke to Gary, I said, you know, I used to sound like my brother, and he said, you sound so much more polished. But I used to be able to get on the phone, you know, and I could pretend I was Chris, so people would call, he'd be passed out in the back room, and I'd be like, yeah, your car's done, don't worry about it. Your tires got stolen, but your car's done. So, Chris is gonna wake up and sell you some tires. Anyhow, but I'm there in Cambridge and I'm reading, it's a formal reading, okay? And it's at this beautiful bookstore, and all of a sudden somebody starts heckling me. You know, and it's my brother. You gotta love him. Talk about a fish out of water. I think it was the last time he was in Cambridge. So.
I won't go back.
Anyhow, no, yeah, I gotta turn back into him. I gotta get my Stoughton accent back. All right, I got a list because my memory's not so good since my mother pushed me down the stairs. She'll tell you I tripped. I don't know. I don't remember. What are you gonna do? So, and you know, people around me, they know I say, what are you gonna do a lot? And it's not because I repeat myself, it's because, you know, people think love is what brings a family together, and I'll tell you, it's, what are you gonna do? That's really the concept that brings family together. It makes the world go around. So, what are you gonna do? You know, and I have my beautiful wife, Christine. Really, I love being married. We never argue. We never argue because when we start to argue, I just take her side. She says, why'd you do that? And I said, because I'm an idiot. It's a win-win. So, anyways, right? What's with this? What is he? I don't know. She stuck with me for years before we got married. So, you know, and people were saying, she's gonna leave you, she's gonna take off. You know, it's like, what are you gonna do? So my friend Ray said, marry her, you idiot. There you go. And you see, so I have this whole yin and the yang. The yin is, what are you gonna do? And the yang is, there you go. So you hear me say that all the time, it's like a religion. So this is the audience participation, okay? Because I don't like to repeat myself. This half, these tables over here, when I point at you, you're gonna say, what are you gonna do? Okay? So let's practice. You've all had a lot to drink. It might take a while, okay? Oh, they're good. And you guys are gonna be, there you go. All right? Oh my God, this is gonna work great. And where's Manny? Manny, when I point at you, you're gonna say, I'm gonna put it on the book face. Yes! Woo! All right. You know, I could have a church. I could have my own church here in Stoughton. I could. So, out on, you know, they have those signs on the street, and the sign would just say, what are you gonna do? And people would come in, okay? But instead of having the whole water and the wine thing, Coors Light. Huh? And then, instead of the communion, Town Spa Pizza. All right, you'd all come, right? And then as people are leaving over the door, there'd be a sign. There you go. So, perfect, perfect. Anyhow, so I have a lot of people to thank tonight. Gary. Gary has given me the chance to have the dream of my life, to be in a regional band. So, the World Gone Crazy band. You know that I always believed I had the same natural talent as Elvis. I just needed to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars with voice coaches to unearth that talent. And now, look at me. I'm doing the sound for a regional powerhouse band. And I do the best sound checks. Check, 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 check. 1, 2, 1, 1, 1. I perform to tens of people, sometimes 20s. And, you know, I talked to Gary. He's let me do more. The other day, he let me wash the van. And as I'm washing the van, he's sitting back, and he says to me, Sonny, you're doing good. You missed a spot over there, but you're doing good. And you know what? We're going to let you be the backup to the backup. So, rock on! Yeah! What are you going to... I'm going to lose my paper. All right. Now, to my parents. I need to thank my parents. They have given me my genes, my body. I finally have the body I want, okay? It's very easy. I used to diet. Everybody's mentioned that. All you need to do to have the body you want is you need to want a really body. It's that simple. All right? So, you know, like I ended up with man boobs, okay? You know, hey. And I could have gotten depressed. Like, I'm looking at it, oh my God. But you know, no. Instead, I decided that moment, I want man boobs. There you go, because they're never gonna go away. So I've accepted them. There we go. Now I am, you know, being in the band, you have to have a certain endowment with your man parts. This has been, I was in the 3rd grade, okay? And I'm in the bathroom. I sneak a peek at the kid next to me, you know? And he's like this. And I'm like twice that size. I'm all excited. I'm that much, you know? So I get home, and I just can't wait. And I say, Mom, I was in the bathroom, I stuck a peek, it was like this, I was twice that size. And she looks at me and says, Chris, what the hell do you expect? You're 16. So, From my father, I got my love of food. You know, I guess I'm one of those lucky people. I can eat anything I want, and all that happens is I just get fat. You know, there you go. You know, I don't eat until I'm full. I got the GERD. I eat until I need surgery. I eat until I hate myself. You know, and most people, you hear that thing like you don't want to go swimming 30 minutes after you eat. I don't want to see people for 30 minutes after I eat because I just have to get over the shame of what I've just done. It's just not good. And from my parents, I get my whole outlook on life. I was taught that great things could happen to me only if I was really, really lucky. You know? So if there's one thing that I want to teach my kids is that optimism is just another word for dumb. You know? I mean, it's, you know, people walk around saying, hey, something great might happen. Why are you going to say that? You know, my mother's always like, bad things happen in threes. And then another threes, and then another threes. So it's just optimism, dumb. So, what are you going to do? There you go. There you go. Jay, my brother Jay. Oh, amazing guitarist there. He actually introduced me to my best friend, alcohol. I mean, if alcohol wasn't so much fun, why would we let it ruin our lives? So, alcohol's taught me a few things, like how to sing the alphabet. Because, you know, the police are always asking me to do the alphabet, and I figure I'm a good singer, I might as well sing the alphabet, you know? And then I could learn to sing it backwards, because they sort of learn those things, so. There you go. My brother does my taxes, so alcohol even makes that fun. We go to his house, it's a beautiful house. We go downstairs, he's got his pool table, he's got a keg in a refrigerator, he pours us a couple beers, we run the numbers, and then we laugh at how broke I am. You know, it's a good thing, but that's the difference between me and my brother is that he thinks his money should be saved, you know, and, you know, I think money's more like beer, okay? And that it's not my beer, I'm just moving the beer from the bottle to the toilet. All right? And some days that's all I do. I just move it from the bottle to the toilet or to the tree or to the tire. You know, I'm kind of like a dog. I'll piss on anything, you know. Manny, I'm sorry. I just remembered. I meant to. So. No, that's all right. No. I owed you an apology. But anyways, there you go. Money's the same thing, you know, I get it, I carry it around for a little while, and then I just flush it back into the system. So, being broke's all right. And then Ray brought me the love of cars. You know, he's got some beautiful classics, a Porsche, a Jag, a Volvo. But anyways, I did it right, okay? Most people, they will only spring for classic cars that have 2 doors, because they're cheap. Me, 4 doors. My Chrysler, 4 doors. You know, it's just the extra added. It's like 82 feet long. And you know, the restoration's almost done. And some people think I stopped because my wife found out how much money I was spending. That's almost true. And some people thought I stopped because I ran out of money. That's almost true. But really what stopped me was the letter E. It's a Chrysler, okay? And I got all these chrome parts, and I can't get the letter E. It's nowhere. So I tried to shorten the name to Chrysler. You know, it just didn't look right. So I put a cover on it, I parked it in the garage, and we call it the Shelf. But really it should be called the Schulf, because there's no E. Still no E. You know, but there are times, you know, there's amazing things on this car now. Over the cover, there's my guns, my empties, my coolers, you know, and sometimes I just stand back and I look at it and I say, this is success. So, it's amazing. And then I'll take my guns out and I'll shoot at things. But don't worry, they're not real guns. I applied to the NRA and they laughed at me. They're just pellet guns. And you know, I don't try to shoot things. I don't even really shoot at them, because if I actually shot something, I would have no idea what to do with it. I would have to either call my brother Jay or call Ray. It would just get ugly. So, anyways, who else? Oh, I have a thank you from my Uncle Chuck, who didn't come tonight, because he's smart, actually. You know, he didn't get here. But my Uncle Chuck was the one who got me my love of boats. You've heard about my boats? So I got 3 boats. I have a big fishing boat, I have a little bow rider, and I have my dad's old canoe. I call them Papa Bear, Mama Bear, and Baby Bear. And since it's a boat, you get clever, so it's actually, instead of bear, it's beer. So, you know, and I'm kind of like Goldilocks, except, you know, Goldilocks wasn't all that smart. And so I am like Goldilocks, and, you know, it's stupid to go in. You know, that's why I didn't read to my kids. So you hear that I'm not a good parent? There was reasons behind that. I didn't want to read to my kids because the books were stupid. So they should just watch TV. There's better stuff on TV. So, and as you know, I do 2 things with my boats. Primarily, I sit and I look at them, because I can't put the gas in them. They're just expensive to put out there, and I can't sell them. So I just sit and I look. Or when I do go out, I go fishing. But I don't catch anything, because I'm just, I'm not good at it. What are you going to do? Beautiful. But you know what? I am. Manny, put it on the book face. Where's Manny? I don't repeat myself ever. Never repeat myself. No. But you know why? It's okay that I go fishing and don't catch anything, because I've found what I'm good at. I am good at failing. Okay? You can work really hard to develop skills to be good at something, but why? Why bother when, failure, I got that. So, yes, very good. So, anyways, Ben and Harvey. I want to thank Ben and Harvey. They treat me like family. So, they give me the clothing on my back, even though, it's got logos all over it. But that's all right. I'll wear it anyways. And, they treat me like, they've taught me what it's like to be Jewish, okay? I've learned so many Jewish words. Oi, oy vey, bagels and lox, goyim, schmuck, oyaklug. And now I'm striving to be something that they call a shagitz. So, that was for you, Javi. Ask Javi later what a shagitz is. Anyhow, and then there's Danny. I've known Danny since he was in diapers. And now he's my boss. Enough said. Good fun. Anyhow. And the last thing, everyone else, thank you for coming out. Thank you for the roast. Thank you for the food pantry. And being president of the chamber was like being mayor of Stoughton, but it was even better because I didn't have to live here. So, thank you very much. Chris, you can have these glasses. I left the Made in China sticker on them. Anyhow, and I do love you, brother. Nice job, Jay, too.
Brilliant, actually. All right, give it up for David Petrie. Brilliant, actually. Jeez. Should we pass out the breakfast menus now or what? I don't know if you guys know this. David actually has his own reality TV show coming out. Unfortunately, it's already been canceled. The focus groups found it very funny but incredibly nauseating at the same time. No, David, that was brilliant. I love it.
Thank you.
Just the best damn Chris I've ever seen.
I'm better than the real Chris.
You are.
I'm half the man he is. Look at
The brothers. Hey, how about a hand for all our roasters tonight, huh? You guys all did great. Yes. And what about our guys from SMAC, our photographer, everybody who helped out? Yes. All right, and now for the man of the hour. Most of you guys have known him longer than I have, but you don't have to know him long to know they broke the mold when they made that guy. Chris never told me about all this great stuff he does, and I think that says a lot about him. In a world gone crazy, we need more Chris Petries. Give it up. Stoughton's favorite son.
Thank you. Good stuff. Thank you. Where's the wireless?
It's on the floor. Just use the podium.
So Gary and I have been together for a long time. So the best thing Gary does is he loses all my equipment and takes me out to Chinese dinner at 2 in the morning. But we've had a great time together, and thank you. Give it up for Gary Marino. He's an amazing guy. Really, I enjoy hanging out with him all the time, and I have no idea where my wireless mic is. So, which is fine. You know, I'll just get another one. But I'm going to keep it short because we went long. But thanks everyone for staying. Thanks everyone for supporting me, supporting my charities, supporting what I do, supporting Stoughton, where I don't live. I grew up in Norwood, and I got hired by Ben Kravitz, true story. I was arrested a week before I was hired, and Ben asked me, and he said, what the hell, I'll hire you. And thanks Ben and Harvey for taking a chance on me. And now there's a new company that I'm still part of, and we have everything I'm involved in, and Stoughton is great, and the PNC is great, and I'm not going to do death by speech. I just want to say, and you know, you guys, the roasters, the music, I got a little stressed out when I saw Doug here with like 17 amps and things, and I'm like, what the hell? I should have got here 2 hours ago. But it was, just what a great night. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for supporting everything we do. And we'll see you soon. And what I always do, everybody, rock on. Thank you. And I have my 17th pair of Elvis glasses. Yeah.